Alright, so to all our listeners, we are creating this video for all those teachers out there who are interested in applying for a reclassification. So if you wanted to know how you are rated, if you wanted to have a detailed discussion in terms of what you should prepare and what are the possible questions to be asked during the interview or perhaps during the ranking process, this video is for you. So there's no other way to actually study it but to read the DepEd order that is the legal basis of the ranking process. So we have to share to you DepEd Order 24 series of 2025 promulgated last August 28, 2025. So we're going to analyze it together so that you'll be able to see the legal basis. You just have to read this one. And if you don't want to read it, then you can also read it with us. You can listen to this discussion here. But I would like to warn you that this is quite a long video. So we will be very detailed in our discussion because this is a very important thing. Your future as a teacher depends on this. How you will perform also depends on this, because we have witnessed a lot of people failing to attach documents simply because they haven't read the DepEd order. So this DepEd order, again, DepEd order 24 series of 2025 is very important. It is entitled as the Expanded Career Progression System. So teachers are given opportunities to reclassify their own item for higher position. So we can see here the legal basis, and of course we will discuss enclosure number 1. So this video is for all those teacher positions, and we will have a separate discussion for school heads. Okay, so we can see here all the usual, but let's start with the rationale. Of course, it's anchored on the Constitution, the 1987 Constitution, and its focus is to enhance the right of teachers. That's our main goal. Of course, we wanted the teachers to exercise their right of professional advancement and ensure that teaching will attract and retain the rightful share of the best available talents to adequate remuneration and other means of job satisfaction and fulfillment. So if we look at the Magna Carta of Public School Teacher, of course we recognize the advancement of teachers in the field of education, and it should depend on the qualification. So that's very important, your ability of the teaching staff, and declares it as a policy of the state to promote and improve the social and economic status of the public school teachers, because they are given importance. But let me just emphasize that the point here is that we have to look at your ability, your qualifications. So that's aligned with the merit and selection plan in the Department of Education, that we have to promote people because they deserve it based on merit. So we have other DepEd orders here and executive orders which are the basis for its establishment. So for instance, we have executive order number 174 series of 2022. It established the expanded system for career progression for public school teachers, and we also have the Compensation and Position Classification Act of 1989. Of course, the Senate and the House of Representatives created Joint Resolution number 4, and of course we have already approved through the budget through DBM DepEd Joint Circular number 01 series of 2025. So these are all legal basis, but the point here is that it should be based on merit. It should be competency based when we promote people. So just take note of that. That's the reason why there are still standards that we have to look into. It might be quite, sometimes some teachers may say na it's quite hard, but we have to set a standard, a particular standard. In fact, if we remember DepEd Order 42 series of 2017, we have set a nationwide standard for teachers. So that's the Philippine Professional Standards for Teachers, which is the standard that we have used and imposed upon teachers for years, since 2017, in order to rate them in terms of their performance in classroom observation, etc. So all these things are the basis now for the reclassification. So finally, the standards are here. Hopefully, we have mastered it for the last years, so that we'll be able to use it for this time for our promotion. So that's the real idea here. Okay, so as we can see here, consistent with the state's commitment to advancing the right of every Filipino learner to quality basic education, DepEd remains faithful to providing the merit and competency base. So again, there is emphasis on merit and competency-based career advancement. So if you're good at teaching based on the Philippine professional standards for teachers, of course, no, you will have higher chance. Just to give you an idea, these are the things that is the basis for your promotion. Okay, so as such, the department hereby issues this DepEd order. So as we can see, it's entitled the implementation of the expanded career progression system for teachers. Right, so what is the scope? Now, of course, this order provides guidance to teachers, school heads, human resource officers, members of the Human Resource Merit Promotion and Selection Board. So, of course, we have the selection board who will try to use the standards in order for them to identify how well you are doing in terms of your ability, no, as in teaching based on the standards set in the PPST. So it covers basic principles and general policies in the ECP system, including the necessary staffing modification and personal action. So as you can see here, if you are teacher 7, no, if you reach that's salary grade 17. Okay, so for master teacher, we can reach up to master teacher 5, and that's salary grade 22, equivalent to a supervisor position. So we have already reached this point of really having a clear progression in terms of the career path of teachers. No, you can be a school principal, you can reach teacher principal 4, no, and it's equivalent to being a supervisor. Okay, salary grade 22. So all these things are designed that teachers will still get promoted as long as they meet all the necessary qualifications, but depending on the standards set. Alright, so as such, this order shall apply to all teachers, school principal, incumbents of the above enumerated position holding permanent appointments. So in all levels from kindergarten to senior high school, including those handling alternative learning systems. So it applies to madrasa, indigenous people, and it also applied to special science teachers and special needs education teachers whose position shall bear such parenthetical title pursuant to Section 21 and 25 of the implementing rules and regulations. So it will also govern hiring. It will not, no, as you can see here, it will not govern hiring and original appointments to vacant teacher 1 because we have different guidelines for entry-level position. Okay, so if you want to learn about that, just feel free to comment because we're going to set another video on that. This video is for those who wanted to get promoted using the new expanded system, no, career progression system that is available now for all teachers and school principals. But if you are a teacher and you wanted to apply, no, in entry-level position, teacher 1, then we will have another video on this. Okay, so the existing recruitment, selection, and appointment guidelines for teacher 1 and school administration positions are stipulated in DepEd Order number 7 series of 2023 for higher teaching positions, as stipulated in DepEd Order 24 series of 20 DepEd Order 20 series of 2024, and their subsequent issuances shall apply. So also, this order does not apply to positions belonging to following jobs like guidance counselors, school farming coordinators, vocation instruction supervisors, school librarian, teaching positions in non-DepEd managed schools, community learning centers, including Philippine High School for Arts, Philippine Science High School, and State University. So there will be different guidelines for that. So teaching positions in Bangsamoro also does not apply to them. Okay, so let's look at the definition of terms. So what is accountability? Refers to the obligation of DepEd officials and employees to accept responsibility for the selection of employees in adherence to their basic principles. Okay, so that's accountability. Then we have the behavioral events interview. It refers to the conduct. No, at the end, you will be doing this. You will be subject to direct inquiry with the applicants, and we will focus on the display of desired behavior when subjected to specific situations or conditions in their previous and current workplace. And it seeks to determine how past behavior predicts future performance. It shall also be used to validate if key behaviors linked to the required competencies had been exhibited in the applicant. So that is what we're going to do there. So if you will be asked what will come out during the interview, no? So the answer is based on the definition. Okay, you can look at the definition. It refers to the conduct of direct inquiry. So we will be looking at your ability to exhibit the desired behavior. So that's why you have to listen very carefully. What are the desired behavior? What do we want to see on these teachers that we expect to get promoted? So again, the key word here is merit and your ability, your performance in terms of teaching. So it seeks to determine how past behavior predicts future performance, and it shall be used to validate if key behaviors linked to the required competencies had been exhibited by the applicant. So if you look at the statement here, it says it's being exhibited. So as a interviewee, I chair the committee, no, in HRM PSB. So the PSB, what we are looking for is a behavior or your ability to tell us that you have actually exhibited it in the past. So that's why we will ask you questions like, sometimes it could be hypothetical situations, and you will be asked to answer it as to how you're going to, if you were in that place, in that particular situation, how would you react? So if you will react that way as expected, of a person who has the merit, who has the skills and the competency, because it's competency based, then of course your answer will reflect that. So what are you going to avoid in answering these questions? Number one, try to avoid trying to just provide a general answer to a very specific question. So usually the questions are very specific. You have a student, perhaps you have a problematic child there inside your class, a very unruly child, and then how would you react? So you cannot say, I will try to understand the child. I will do my best to, just understand the child because maybe perhaps he has a problem. Those are very general answers to a very specific question. So your behavior should focus, your answer should focus on telling us exactly what you're going to do. So perhaps you can tell us that you're going to conduct research, or you're going to understand the situation of the child first, talk to them personally, or talk to their parents and try to understand what is the reason behind such behavior. So you try to show to us what exactly you're going to do in order to address the problem. But at the same time, you look at the standards in the PPST. So you look at the Philippine Professional Standards as stated there in the DepEd Order and try to exhibit that in your answer. Okay, so that's the technique there. No, so I hope you get that. No, so we have here a classroom teaching career line. So what does it mean when you say classroom teaching career line? It refers to the career pathway of teachers that is involved in classroom teaching. So the classes of positions in the CT career include teacher 1 to 7, and then you have master teacher 1 to 5. So we also have comparative assessment. So this refers to the procedure or method of determination of top candidates for possible appointment. So it involves the use of multiple evaluation techniques to evaluate the competencies of the qualified applicant vis-a-vis the competencies required by the position applied for. So the comparative assessment is the process itself, okay, of ranking. So we don't call it ranking per se, but we call it comparative assessment. So the results for expanded reclassification, or the Carreer, refers to the report prepared by the HRM PSB that shall contain the complete list of all candidates for reclassification. So this highlights the candidates whose total scores obtained from the evaluative assessments meet the quota based on available fund allocation in the division. So perhaps you will see that the content here is how well you have performed during the ranking process itself. Okay, so we have here competence refers to your ability to perform tasks efficiently and exhibit behaviors that demonstrate the necessary knowledge, skills, and attitude. So maybe perhaps some of you are already done doing the classroom observation, part, so we are looking at your competence. Okay, so competencies refers to knowledge, skills, attitude, and key behaviors that are necessary for the efficient and effective performance of duties and responsibilities. And we have coterminous with the incumbent refers to an appointment that is coexistent with the appointee in that after the resignation, separation, or termination of the services of the incumbent, the position shall be deemed automatically abolished. And we have education refers to the formal or non-formal academic, technical, or vocational studies that enable an applicant to successfully perform the duties and responsibilities of the position. Okay, so eligibility refers to the result of passing a merit and fitness test, which may be determined as far as practicable by appropriate examination or based on highly technical qualification. So this is very important. When you say eligibility, we look at your passing the merit and fitness test. So there are minimum qualifications before you will be considered for a particular position. Okay, so usually the CSC together with them will set the standards for this. Okay, like for example, for teaching and school principal positions, the applicable eligibility shall be the Professional Regulation Commission's licensure examination for professional teachers. So that gives you the eligibility to be qualified to become a teacher. Okay, so basically, if you remember, that's still an examination. We look at merit and fitness. And then we have equal opportunity. Refers to non-discrimination principle that allows any qualified applicant as much as possible, regardless of position, irrespective of age, sex, sexual orientation, gender identity, civil status, disability, religion, ethnicity, or political beliefs. So this is very important. No, we don't hire people based on who you know or who you are. No, it should be based on your merit and your fitness. Okay, so if you are to be rated, do not get angry if you are rated based on your documents. But if someone is being preferred because he knows the congressman, he knows a politician, he knows any person in the division office, I think that is something that you have to get angry about, because that is a violation of the equal opportunity principle. Okay, it should not be based on who you know, or maybe what you know could be a factor, but not who you know. Okay, and also not because you are male or you are female. So regardless of sex, regardless of age, it says here irrespective of age. So age doesn't matter. No, we base it on merit and fitness. So as you can see here, that's the equal opportunity principle. We cannot hire you because you're the oldest in the group. That's the very wrong standard. No? We should not discriminate based on age, because it's what is written in law. It's equal opportunity principle. And of course, sexual orientation, gender doesn't matter. Okay? Then your civil status, if you are married, no, you cannot say no to a person who is married just because he is married. Okay? Or single, you will prefer single due to certain reasons that based solely on civil status, that is a violation of equal opportunity. Okay? And just because he has a disability, you cannot say no to him. No? As long as he can perform the minimum expectation of someone on that position. Okay? So all these religion, ethnicity, political beliefs should not be a basis of hiring. So that's the equal opportunity principle. So just take note of that. Next, we have evaluative assessment. Refers to the multiple evaluation techniques in the determination of competencies of an applicant vis-a-vis the required competencies of the position applied for. So we have evaluative assessment. Ito ay tumutukoy sa refers to the multiple evaluation techniques in the determination of competencies. So we look at all these evaluative assessment in order for us to rate our applicants. Right. So we have here. Okay, we also look at experience. So later on, we're going to learn how to rate ourselves based on experience and relevant experience. Then we have specialized. So if you look at relevant experience, how it is defined, of course, no, refers to the appropriate knowledge or skill acquired from previous or current employment which has significant closeness and functional relationship with the duties. Okay, duties attached to the position to be filled as certified by the HRMO and immediate supervisor. And we have here specialized experience refers to distinct line of knowledge or skill which is specifically required in the position. And then we also have managerial experience refers to knowledge or skills involving leadership, functional guidance, and supervision over people, resource, and policy. Exercising functions such as planning, organizing, directing, coordinating, controlling, and overseeing the activities of the organization. Okay, so we also have fitness. So fitness refers to the principle of ensuring that the competencies of an individual match with the competency requirements in a position. The head of office refers to the highest authority within which each governance level as follows. So here we see that head of office is clearly defined. The central office, of course, the secretary. For schools, division office, because we are in the school level, did you notice that schools, our head of office is the schools division superintendent? This is a good development because, before there is a confusion as to who is the head of office in terms of definition. So clearly here we have schools, still schools division superintendent, and not the principal, not the assistant superintendent, not the supervisor, but the school division superintendent. Okay, so higher teaching position refers to teaching positions of teacher 2. So that's why our discussion is only for those applying for teacher 2 and up. Okay, it doesn't include teacher 1 entry level applicants. Above in elementary and secondary level, including the senior high school, it shall include those positions with parenthetical title, special needs education teacher, special science teacher pursuant to section 21 and 22. Okay, then we have the increments table. We're going to discuss this later on. The initial evaluation results refers to the report submitted by the HRMO, which contains the list of qualified and disqualified applicants, the CSA approved qualification standards. And we have the learning and development refers to formal or non-formal training courses and human resource development interventions such as but not limited to coaching, mentoring, job rotation, seminars, and workshops that are part of the applicant's individual career development plan aligned with existing competency standards of their current tasks and functions. Okay, so we have management. What is management? Refers to leadership, functional guidance, control, and oversight of an organizational unit's people, resource, or policy. Okay, and the exercise of planning, organizing, directing, and coordinating functions. We also have means of verifications. Ito yung mga documents that serve as proof of evidence to verify the attainment of specific qualifications. So these are things that you have to submit. No? So with regards to this, please remember that these means of verification should be submitted on or before the deadline. So basically, the general rule is that you are not allowed to submit additional documents because that is explicitly provided here. So if it's explicitly provided here, if the HRMPSB will allow that, they will violate the DepEd order. And of course, the committee is bound based on what is written on the DepEd order. Okay, so merit refers to the necessary qualifications and competencies to perform the duties and responsibilities of the position applied for. And we have a natural vacancy. It refers to vacancy resulting from promotion, transfer, or any form of separation from service. So if someone retires, of course, we call that natural vacancy. Okay, then we have on-stream candidates refers to incumbents affected by the implementation of the enhanced career progression system, which shall be given priority in the provision of professional development interventions and promotion to school principal 1 position. They will be given priority, whether through reclass or natural vacancy. And we have an open ranking system. So what is this open ranking system? So this is a transparent, participative conduct of comparative assessment and evaluation. So usually this is a principle embodied on the ranking process wherein we let our applicants go through the process of ranking, So they will be somehow rating themselves and we will be opening all the MOVs to them so that they will be rating themselves based on the documents. Okay, so they are made aware of the processes and corresponding results. and refers to the transparent, participative conduct of comparative assessment and evaluation, where applicants are made aware of the processes and corresponding results. And then we have the PPST, no? These are the set of standards which provide measures for professional learning, competent practice, and effective engagement. So it says the standard. What is the ideal way of teaching? So it's there. Philippine professional standards. We keep on looking at a standard. No, we have already set it, no, and it's written in the Philippine professional standards for teachers. Then, of course, for school heads, we use the Philippine standards for school heads. Okay, promotion, of course, we all know that. That's why we're watching this, because we want to know how to get promoted. And of course, the qualification standards. These are the standards set by the government, no, in terms of qualification. So, what are the minimum qualifications for education, for training? What is the experience needed? 2 years, 1 year, whatever. And the competency, if any. So reclassification, this is what we're looking at for here. Now, as long as there's a budget, of course, we will accommodate all those who want their item to be reclassified as long as they meet the qualification. So your ranking process, by the way, is only for the purpose of priority. So if there's still another set, all those who qualified already will be reclassified. Okay, so the idea here is that you will be reclassified. So priority only given to those who are on the higher portion, or in terms of rank, you have met the qualifications already. So for sure, you will be reclassified. So you don't have to worry. No, the ranking process is only for us to identify who to prioritize. But all of you will be promoted. But this is not just ordinary. A few number of teachers to be promoted. Please take note that the Philippine government has set aside billions for this in order to reclassify teachers. Now, so time is of the essence. So that's why a lot of division offices are submitting their work, submitting their budget, so that the teachers who will be qualified and who will be ranked, will be allocated budget already. So that's why we have to be swift and fast so that we can help as many teachers as we can. So refers to a form of staffing modification or position classification which may be applied when there is warranted substantial change in the regular duties and responsibilities of the incumbent in the position. So it generally involves a change in any of all the position attributes, position title, salary grade, position level. So what is unique in reclassification? Of course, we reclassify your item. You don't have to compete or to look for another item. So if your item is teacher 1, we will convert that particular item to teacher 4 or teacher 6 based on your competencies. So this is something really new, because before this is limited to teacher 1. You can get promoted to teacher 3, but now you can even go for teacher 7, diba? So this is already a good solution to the current problem of promoting our teachers. Okay, so this provides a new path, enhance a career progression. Okay, so we can reclassify career classification for teaching position. So you will be able to see this during the ranking process. And then of course reclassification form for school principal. And then retitling is a form of reclassification that does not involve change in the salary grade of the position, provided that the new position or title belongs to the same occupational group. Then you have rubrics referred to the scoring guide. The school administration career line refers to the pathway of teachers involved in school management. The scrap and build is a form of conversion of vacant regular position which necessitates the changes in the position titles. Okay, and then teaching position refers to a position that is directly engaged in teaching. And then we have transparency. So refers to the availability of relevant, reliable, and timely information. Okay, so all these are the acronyms that if you wanted to refer to, you can read. Okay, so let's look at the policy statement. This is very important. When you say policy statement, it is basically the overall principle of the DepEd Order. So you have to read this one. Now, the department hereby provides a set of guidelines that shall govern the implementation of Executive Order 174 Series 2022. And what is this? It established the expanded career progression system for public school teachers. It's implementing rules and regulations. And also the DBM Joint Circular Number 1 Series of 2025. It adopts the redefined career lines of classroom teaching and school administration as mandated by Executive Order Number 174 Series of 2022 and outlines the process of career progression and promotion of teachers and school heads along career lines. So this is what we're going to expect on this DepEd order. Okay, so provide clear measures for professional learning, competent practice, and effective engagement. Okay, so consistent with merit and competency-based recruitment. So that's the principle here. Now, it's merit and competency-based recruitment. So it's really hard. No, if you want to get promoted, of course, no, your goal is to exhibit your merit and your competency. Okay, so that's really the issue here is really to just exhibit it and show that you are capable and you are equipped with all the necessary skills. So if you want to really get promoted, then of course, no, you have to learn more about education. You have to understand the Philippine professional standards for teachers, and you have to exhibit that skills in your classroom. Practice it in your classroom so that it will be very easy when you try to exhibit it during promotion. Okay, selection and placement policies. So the department is stipulated in its agency merit selection plan. And these guidelines uphold the DepEd's commitment to retain its best talents by promoting professional development and career advancement, ensuring that the remuneration of its personnel is commensurate to the acquired qualifications. So there are many teachers who are very good in teaching, but they are still under Teacher 1. No? So this is an opportunity, very good in teaching, terms of merit and competency based on the PPST. So this is how we drive high levels of performance while boosting morale, work motivation, and fulfillment. Okay, so the guidelines, no, the expanded career progression for teachers. Of course, no, we see that it is applied here in the teacher career line up to teacher 7, the master teacher 5, 1 to 5, and of course, school principal 1 to 4. Okay, so this is the career line, classroom teaching career line, and we have the school administrator's career line. So equivalence of positions in the career teaching and the school administrator career line alignment with the career stages of PPST and PPSH. So as you can see, the basis for promoting is PPST and PPSH, which we have emphasized now because these are the standards. The equivalence in the position in the career teaching and school administrators career line, as well as their alignment with the career stages of PPSC and PPSH, is shown in the table below. So if you can see here, there's an alignment here with the same salary grade. Okay, like the master teacher 2 has the same salary grade with school principal 1, diba? Okay, so all these are, we can see the equivalence of the position. So maybe this is for the purpose of seamlessness, no, of let's say for example you wanted to be a school head, a school administrator. So of course you are free to jump to another career line. Okay, so just to see the alignment. So the salary grades and their rates are indicated in the illustration above and shall be deemed updated, adjusted, and modified whenever necessary to reflect such current levels and rates. May be fixed by relevant laws and executive issuances. Of course, now when we impose a change, laws will always look at those who will get affected. So they are deemed, no, it says here they are deemed updated, adjusted, and modified whenever necessary. Okay, so hiring and promotion to positions of the expanded career progression system shall be based on merit and fitness and competence. It shall require the attainment of the minimum qualifications approved by the CSC and the appropriate proficiency level defined under the established professional standards for teachers and school heads. So promotion to higher positions shall be non-hierarchical. So what does that mean? It means that you can jump, no, from one position For example, teacher 1 or teacher 3, you will jump to teacher 6. Okay, provided no the conditions that are stated here are met. So first, career stage based advancement. So under no circumstance shall an applicant be allowed to jump higher to higher career stages for promotion without progressing to each of the career stages defined under the established professional standard. So an incumbent of any position under career stage 1 beginning towards proficient teacher 1 to 3 shall be required to go through any positions under career stage 2, which is teacher 4 to teacher 7. So before advancing to any position under stage 3, which is highly proficient. So of course, no, you cannot jump from another, you have to go through teacher 1, the stage 1, career stage 1. So if you're teacher 3, you can go to stage 2, teacher 4 to 7, before you can advance to MT 1 to 3. Okay? So that's the, it can be non-hierarchical, but you can jump within your career stage, but not, so meaning you can jump from teacher 1 to 3, but you can never jump from teacher 1 to master teacher 1 or master teacher 2. So that's the limitation imposed. And of course, we have the 3 salary grade limitation. So promotion, whether through reclassification or natural vacancy, shall not exceed the 3 salary grades higher than the applicant's present position, except when the promotional appointment falls within the purview of an applicable exemption granted by the CSE or as stipulated by the OUR. In such case, appropriate justification shall be submitted to the oversight agency. So, of course, no, it is possible because you can submit justification. Okay, so it is prohibited, but it's not purely impossible because you can provide here, the DepEd Order provides for a justification. But there should be an attachment as to documents for evaluation and approval. Okay, so let's talk about entry and advancement in the classroom teaching career line. So all qualified individuals desiring to pursue the career teaching career line may apply to any position through natural vacancy or reclassification positions, subject to necessary assessment and applicable staffing standards and deployment parameters. So applicants to position of career teacher career line must meet the minimum qualifications of the teaching position applied for. So we see here an exception. The limitation that we have discussed a while ago is only for those who wanted to reclassify. But the same rule does not apply to natural vacancies. Because as long as they meet the minimum qualifications, they will be qualified to jump to a particular position. So as long as the following are met, they meet the minimum qualifications per CSE qualification standards. Number 2, they meet the desired proficiency level for teachers defined under the PPST as may be assessed through performance ratings and certificate of competency level issued by the authorized body. And the last requirement is they undergo the comparative assessment. So this is the 3rd requirement by the Human Resource Merit Promotion and Selection Board in accordance with the following guidelines. So they can use the reclassification for teaching positions and DO20, Series of 2024, Guidelines on the Recruitment, Selection, and Appointment of Higher Teaching Positions for Natural Vacancy. And of course, we have here paragraph 22, which talks about the entry and advancement in school administration career line. So I think this is not relevant here, but our school heads are desiring to pursue a career line may apply through natural vacancy. Okay, so for example, if they are applying for a school head position, of course, this is somehow relevant here because if you're a teacher 1, let's say for example teacher 3, and you wanted to advance or to apply to the school administration career line, are you prohibited? The answer is no. You can always jump, as long as it's a natural vacancy. Or it can also be reclassification of positions subject to necessary assessment and applicable staffing standards and deployment parameters. So we have to look at the standards here. And the applicant must also meet the minimum qualifications. That's requirement number 1. You have to meet the desired proficiency level for school heads. And of course, you have to undergo comparative assessment, which is what we call ranking in our usual day-to-day language. Okay? So we have here paragraph 23, which talks about the choice of career line. So upon reaching Master Teacher 1 position, a teacher may choose to pursue the career teaching career line or the school administrator career line. A teacher pursuing a promotion to Master Teacher 2 shall continue upwards in the classroom teaching career line. And of course, while a teacher opting a career as a school principal shall continue upwards in the school administration career line without precluding the provisions of Section 24 of this enclosure on switching career line. So, of course, you will be free to switch. So, what about the switching? Let's talk more about it. So, the switching of career line from classroom teaching to school administration and vice versa shall be allowed once. Only once. Provided that the individual opting to switch possess all the necessary qualifications and expected competencies for the position being applied for in the other career line. So, provided further that the switching of career line shall be subject to available vacant position, the applicable staffing standards and deployment parameters for master teacher and school principal position. So the applicable guidelines for natural vacancy or reclassification of position as defined in Section 21 and 22 of this enclosure shall apply. Right, so let's talk about qualified teachers, master teachers, and school principals, which may be considered for promotion to other higher positions related teaching and non-teaching in the service subject to the necessary assessment and applicable guidelines. Similarly, qualified individuals, internal or external to DepEd, shall be allowed to apply to any vacant position, in the expanded career progression system, commensurate to their qualifications and proficiency level, subject to the provisions stipulated in Section 21 and 22 of this enclosure. Okay? So we will entertain external, even external applicants. They shall be allowed to apply. But again, it should be commensurate to their qualifications and proficiency level. So we have here the scrap and build policy. So in the event when any position in the career teaching or school administrator career line is vacated through promotion, transfer, resignation, and retirement, or any form of separation from the service, the vacant position shall be posted as a natural vacancy, and shall be filled up in accordance with the DepEd MSP and applicable RSC guidelines within 1 year reckoned from the date of vacancy. So there's already a requirement that it should be filled up within 1 year. So if the position remains vacant after 1 year period, the school division office shall facilitate the conversion of the dormant item to the entry position of job group. So we can already, scrap and build. As such, the position shall be abolished, and in their stead, the following position shall be created. Okay, so it can be vacated, and it could be converted to school principal 1. So this is a good thing because there's a problem with reclassification because it actually provides a problem with items that are of higher position already. Leaving the entry level, leaving people unable to enter to an entry level position. So, for example, a teacher, school principal 3, just for instance, dies or would resign. So the item there is teacher, school principal 3. So, of course, those who wanted to get that position will have to look for school principal 1 first because, it's prohibited for them to go directly to school principal 3. So that's why there's a scrap and build policy, which is a good thing, because it addresses the problem with reclassification. The stated positions bearing the parenthetical titles for special needs education teacher and special needs education master teacher shall maintain their parenthetical title upon conversion to the entry position to the job group. Okay, so there is a scrap and build policy here. So it's really addressing the problem. That's a good thing, no? So we have the modified staffing standards of master teacher and school principal. So pursuant to 90 of the DBM DepEd Joint Circular 1, which amends the 1987 organization staffing standards for DEX, no? School division, elementary and secondary schools, the modified staffing standards establishing the number of authorized master teacher and school principal positions in the elementary and secondary schools shall be as follows. So we have here the staffing standards, okay, as enumerated here. So what is the relevance here? For example, you have school staffing, one plantilla item per school regardless of the position title. So per school, there should be one plantilla item per school, no, for school principal 1. And one plantilla item for every 5 teachers within the school regardless of the position title. So for example, if there are 5 teachers within that particular school, of course, no, you are entitled to one master teacher, 1 item. Okay? Okay, or master teacher 2 if necessary. Okay, so the thing here is that this already addresses the problem with the ratio, no? Because you have here already an express provision in the DepEd order. Okay, same with high school and senior high. For every 5 teacher, automatically you can be entitled to 1 master teacher, no, for every 5. Okay, for regional science high schools, of course, no, the ratio is smaller. You have 3 teachers per subject, learning area. You have 1 plantilla item for master teacher. And then 1 plantilla item for SNED teachers within the school's division, regardless of the position title. So that will entitle you to 1 plantilla item for master teacher. Then for alternative learning system, also 1 master teacher for every 5. For multi-grade, 3 teachers within the school entitles you to 1 plantilla item. So if there are 6 teachers there, you can have 2 master teachers. If there's a multi-grade school or a hardship post. Okay, so 1 school principal item regardless of the position or title shall be authorized for every unique school. So every unique school, with school, these are schools with unique school ID. Transfer or redeployment of excess items or reassessment for designation of the personnel resulting from the implementation of the transitory provision as stipulated in Part 6 of this enclosure shall be effected subject to the provisions under Section 35 of this enclosure. So we have here paragraph 29. It talks about the modified staffing standards for master teacher position as shown in the table above mandates the required master teacher. Okay, so I've already discussed this one. Okay, so that's why we have a very specific, this is actually good news, no? Because, if you notice, the standard before is, I think, 8, diba? So you have to have for every, and it is also required that they should have the same major. But right now, we have eliminated that, no? So this is a good news, no? Because you will have to only require 5 number of teachers for you to be entitled to 1 master teacher item position. Okay? So, to ensure the reclassification or retightening of the positions are in accordance with the modified staffing standards for master teacher and school principal position, the DepEd Regional Office shall submit an inventory of teacher, master teacher, and school principal position, which shall be submitted to the DBM Regional Office. Okay, so the good news here is imagine for every 5 teacher, meron na tayong isang master teacher. For every school which has a unique school ID, we will have 1 principal item. Okay, so all principals, regardless of how many teachers it has, will have 1 school principal item. So isn't the end result here is every school will have 1 principal item given the salary grade of a principal item. No, it's salary grade 19, and he doesn't have to look for natural vacancy anymore. He can reclassify his item or her item to principal 1. Okay, as long as he meets all the necessary qualifications. Okay, so the transitory provision, of course, no, there will be pursuant to Section 19 of the IRR, shall be 3 years reckoned from the date of the issuance. For purposes of establishing the exact dates of the transition shall be reckoned from the date of publication. Okay, but right now I think this is effective, no? 15 days after its publication in the official gazette. Okay, so there is a clause here for conversion of existing vacant items, the scrap and build policy. We have already discussed that. Okay, and then promotion for classification of incumbents. Of course, we will prioritize those who are affected. And retitling of existing field positions for positions of the enhanced career progression system. So, of course, there is a retitled position. So, we have to, there's a position here like special school principal 2. It will be retitled to the following current position. But, as you can see, only retitled. No? Salary grade still is the same. Okay? Okay, so incumbents who meet the CSE approved qualification standards for equivalent school principal position and the competencies of the school heads as certified by the passing the NQESH or the principal's test or the administered principalship or school head assessment shall be retitled to equivalent school principal position. Okay, so of course, their salary grade will not be prejudiced, for this particular. So incumbents who do not meet the CSE approved qualification standards for equivalent school principal position or have passed the NQESH, principal's test, or the administrative principalship or school head assessment shall be retitled to the equivalent master teacher position, subject to the applicable staffing pattern. So of course, they will go to the master teacher position.